Was there a point when you realized, hey, I want to do this? I want to call games.
Oh, I don't know if it was the call games part as much as it was. I think I was 8 years
Be part of
old.
sports.
Yeah, I'd be part of sports. I was 8 years old watching the first guy that jumped out at me was Warner Wolf, who people might remember from Monday Night Baseball. And he was a big deal in Washington and went to New York, came back to Washington. I used to watch Warner Wolf do sports, and I would watch what he did, and then he'd finish, and I'd pretend I was him. And I just wanted to do sports. I wanted to be like him. I wanted to do what he did, and that became really my first influence. So really from the time I was 8 years old, watching the news and watching what he did, I knew I wanted to be involved in sports. And as I got older and started, going into press boxes and got into business and things like that, I was probably 18, 19 years old. When I would watch the play-by-play guys walk in, it was, to me, that was like magic. It was like I would watch them walk in with their briefcases, and it was like they were walking on air, because then they would walk into the booth. And that to me was just the coolest thing in the world. And I just dreamed that one day I would get to walk into a booth and do a game. But I just sat and, marveled at those guys doing what they did.
Do you remember the announcers during? Because you grew up watching some pretty good Redskins teams. I remember watching them. I think I'm just a little younger than you, not much, but those are some of my favorite teams. Joe Gibbs and the Hogs, and we're going to talk about that. But do you remember the announcer?
Oh, the announcer in my head is Frank Herzog.
Okay.
Who was the voice of the Redskins when they became great under Gibbs. And it's funny, I can tell you that, I watched Super Bowl 17 when Riggins went around the left side and on TV, but the voice I hear in my head is Frank Herzog calling it in radio because it became so famous afterwards. But Frank was somebody that I later got to work with and was hugely supportive of me. And that's actually where my touchdown call came from, was Frank.
Yeah.
He was the one who had that call originally. And by the time I got this job, he was no longer doing the Redskins, and thought, pick that up. But he was somebody who said to me, I remember his words. I remember I was working with him, and he looked at me and he knew what I wanted to do. And I was, struggling finding traction, things like that. And he said, you can do this. I said, do what? He said, you can do what I'm doing. You can do the play-by-play. You can do the TV. You can do all of it. And that to this day meant the world to me, that he would say that to me and give me that kind of confidence. So I try to pay it forward now, help people when I can, because I know how big that was for me.
If you or your family is touched by autism, learn more about Fredi's Foundation at #PopTheTap at FrediThePizzaMan.com. That's FREDI, thepizzaman.com, or email FrediThePizzaman@gmail.com.